Hey everyone, it's Lainey. Welcome back. I'm going to be making a Valentine's Day card today, but I'm going to use non-traditional items such as this Everyday Sayings die, which is such a great item to have in my collection because I can use it seasonally and just alter the color based on the season and then make it a seasonal card. I also pulled the plaid card front die as well, but let's play with the color. We're going to bring in color with this Hello die because I haven't used it yet. And I haven't used the plaid die front either, which is why I pulled them today. Now this die here, this shadow layer, is almost 2 inches. Let me think. I think I want the shadow layer in white, and then the text will bring in the color with. So this is 1.5 inches. So I'm thinking that I'll cut these into about 1/2 inch strips, maybe a little bit bigger, just to allot for some extra space for our die. I've got little scraps stuck to my blade because I had glue on it from my last project. Okay, and I want these to be long because I want my die horizontally. We're not going to be making a portrait orientation. We're actually going to be making a landscape card today. So what did I say? About 1/2 inch strips. And I'm going to make them a little bit larger than a 1/2 inch strip. And then we will get to gluing these pieces down. Okay, so these colors that I pulled, I'm using Concord and Night cardstock as well. So we've got Poppy, Pink Lemonade, and then the Ballet Slipper. And I was originally thinking of a gradient, which is why I pulled the Ballet Slipper, because that Pink Lemonade is quite vibrant. But I was playing around with the strips and I just did this. And I think I like that. It's different. And I love this Poppy. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to bring in 80-pound cardstock. And I'm using my mini die cutting machine for this. So I'm going to trim this down so it'll fit through. Okay, and now I need to glue my strips to my cardstock so we can create a base for this color. And add plenty of glue. If you just add a strip like this, there'll be pieces of your little strips that will come off once you die cut it because there just simply isn't enough glue there on that piece of paper. So plenty of glue, and let me think. We will start with Pink Lemonade and make sure it's lined straight. Okay, and then we will bring in the Poppy and lining it up as close together as possible. Okay. It is such a dreary day and a little bit chilly. I think it's going to get cold tonight again. And I've got all the windows open, so it's just a little bit of natural light coming in. But with all of that said, I've got a candle, and it's the wood. It's a wood wick, so you hear it crackling. It's from Walmart. It was $5. I crafted with them during the holidays, and those little candles last quite a while with those wood wicks. I love it. Okay. So this is what we're going with, right? So we've got our strips glued down to our base, and now we need to align our die and run it through our machine here. And I probably should get some tape just to secure it down because it's really important to make sure this is straight because this text is the focal point of your card. And also paying attention to the other colors, seeing how much of that I'm bringing in. Okay, tape it down and let's run it through. And need to clean off the bottom here. That suction isn't always the best. And very carefully going to pop this out. Okay, perfect. Nothing popped off. So I added plenty of glue. Something I was running into before when I would try this technique, I wasn't adding enough glue and I was just adding the strip like I described. And once it was cut out, I would have like, say this part of the H would just pop off and I would have to glue it back, or corners lifting up. So that is the way to do it. Add a little more glue so you don't have to add more glue after the fact. And now we have the hello text all done, and look at that color. I love how the poppy is in the middle. So now for the shadow layer, I want to cut this out a couple times. I've got 80-pound cardstock here. I'm going to cut this in half. And I'm going to cut this out probably 3 times in the 80-pound, just to add some dimension and some thickness. Snap, crackle, and pop. But yeah, I'm going to cut it out a few times and then we'll see how that looks. Okay, so I've got these 3 layers of 80-pound cardstock cut out, and I think that thickness is perfect. So let's go ahead and glue these together and then center line our colorful hello. What I'm trying to do right now, since we've moved and I went through all of my stuff and kind of downsized, you know, things that I'm just not using, I haven't used in a year, put it in storage. But I was also going through, you know, all my new supplies, like some of my card making supplies, because I'm having to put them in new homes and there's so much that I haven't used. So that is one of the reasons why I am creating with essentially what I have and using color for the season or holiday, because I need to use that stuff. Like, why did I buy it if I'm not going to use it? I can't just keep buying, because there's new stuff that comes out every month. It's going to be constant. And yeah, I am challenging myself a little bit by trying to think outside the box. And with this card in particular, very simple using color. You know, this technique here is nothing new or special. You see this technique used quite a bit throughout the card making community, but I'm going to bring in some hearts and some rose gold. And I think that that is what's going to make this really stand out. I love it. How pretty. And that poppy just literally pops. Okay, so for this sentiment set here, Everyday Sayings Die rather. So grateful friend. I do have another saying from Concord and Ninth, love you, but I haven't used this. I think I actually have used this friend, but I want to kind of keep it in one set for you guys. So we're going to use the friend, and this is great because this is universal. You know, a coworker or a neighbor, a distant friend that you haven't spoken to in a while, and maybe send them a card instead of calling and text. You know, change it up. And that's what I'm thinking. So I'm bringing in this rose gold cardstock here. This is from Joanne Fabrics. Oh, and then this also comes with 2 hearts, ironically. So we're going to get this cut out a couple times as well. And I was really wanting to go with silver. And because I only was working with, or I thought I had regular yellow gold and silver. And then I was looking through my stuff and I came across my rose gold, and I was like, oh yeah, I bought this before season crafting started, and I hadn't used it yet. Got to resection this down. I'm gonna run this through twice because this is thick. So it just ran all the way through, and now I'm gonna back it up so it gets an additional press. Okay. And we've got the friend. Oh, and we've got the dot to the eye. I'm gonna put that right there on that white cardstock so I don't lose it. And then our hearts, and I'm gonna cut the hearts out twice just because I don't know. I feel like I might use 3, but I'm not sure. So let's just cut both of those sizes out one more time. And once again, I will run it through twice. Okay, so now I'm gonna move this stuff aside because I need to bring in my card base so we can start prepping everything. And I still need to cut my panel down in the that plaid card front. But I wanna show you this part because I am changing the orientation of our card today. I usually do a portrait, and today's the landscape. All right, so I'm gonna be using my We Are tool here. This is the all-in-one tool, and I've got 110-pound cardstock, and it is measuring 8.5 by 5.5. So this was just an original 8.5 by 11, 110-pound cardstock. I cut it in half, and that's what we're working with. Once again, 8.5 by 5.5. So I'm gonna line this up at that 0 mark and grab my scoring tool. And now we've got 8.5. So what is half of 8.5? That is 4 1/4. And I'm gonna score it 4 1/4. Okay. And now still a top folding card, but like I said, we changed the orientation. Just really get that pressed. Change the orient. Oh, I'll have to trim that down. I am misaligned. But now it's a landscape card. All right. Now that we've got our card base, move that aside. This is 80-pound cardstock. This is an A2 size, so 4 1/4 by 5.5. And I've got to use my larger die cutting machine. I'm going to use my Spellbinders Platinum 6. But I'm going to go ahead and run that through off camera, and then we can start gluing our panel down to our card base. Okay, so we've got all these little paper pieces, and I'm just going to pop them out onto my cutting plate here so I can dump it in the trash. Let's see if I can, need a little help here to pop that out. How pretty is that? This is gonna be great for Easter too. Oh my goodness. All right, guys, so let's build a card. I'm gonna magnetize this down. Let's put my little machine back over my light reflection so it's not blinding to you guys. And then, since I trimmed it down a bit, I'm gonna have to trim off that excess, but that's okay. Now, let me think. No. I was gonna glue it directly to the card. Do I wanna do that? Does it matter? I'm not sure. You know what? Let's move that away. I'm gonna bring in another piece of 80-pound cardstock. I'm gonna glue it to a panel and then glue it to the card base. Now, if you had spray adhesive, you could use that because it would be a little bit quicker, but I'll just use this real fast. Try to get glue in most places. Alrighty. Laying it down. Now I've got to line it up. Okay, and now I'm going to cut it down. Now this is meant to be, you know, an entire piece, not to necessarily be trimmed down, the plaid, but I'm going to trim it down just to see. And if I don't like it, I'll just cut it back out. I'm just going to trim down all 4 sides, but the final measurements are going to be 3 3/4 by 5. But I'll need to go around all 4 sides to make sure all edges are clean. So let's finish this card up. I'm going to zoom in so y'all can have a better visual there. And let's magnetize our card base down. We've got our panel. And of course, I'm going to prop it up using my 5mm adhesive foam tape. And I find this from Hobby Lobby. But I did say, I don't know, in the last one of my cards, I don't know if it's already out yet or not. Okay, I gotta get a new roll. After I am out of all the 5mm foam tape that I have, I'm going to go thinner, maybe 3mm thick, just because you have to add a lot of foam tape because it's lifted up more, right? So it gives it more opportunity to divot in between the foam tape. And it also takes up a lot of space in storing your cards, because I just had to go through all of my cards and I'm having to put some in other places. So I'm going to make my cards less thick in the future for a couple of reasons. Okay. Remove the backers. And I'm so glad I cut this panel down so we have that margin, because that's my go-to. That is what I visually enjoy. So make sure everything is straight. Now, paying attention to my margins here. I want even spacing on all 4 sides, or as even as I can visually make it. And now we've got our hello. And then our friend. Let's see how we'll maybe offset these a bit. Okay, so we've got the dot to the eye that we need to place down as well. And that's kind of interacting with the plaid and the base there. And then we've got our 4 little hearts to tie in that rose gold a little more. And I'm not sure here, but I think I'm going to probably use these as embellishments. And then after, yeah, I don't think I'm going to add embellishments. Let's see. Let's bring in the, uh-oh. That's cute with the 4. Okay, so do we want to prop up the hello? No, we built it up with the cardstock, so we won't add any more foam tape. We'll glue this directly to the panel. Lots of glue, because there's a lot of unevenness now that we've got that plaid card front. So plenty of glue here, and okay. Just paying it, I was leaving everything else down, so I placed the hello in the correct spot so I had room for the friend, because I wanted the F and the D to not touch or interact with the hello. So now let's use our magnets just to add some pressure there. So while that is gluing down, I'm going to just continue to use my liquid glue here and add a little glue to the rest of the elements. All right, I have everything glued down and I love this. Oh goodness, the magnets stuck to themselves. All right, guys, this is the finished card. Look at that detail. I love that card front. I need to add a little glue right there. You see it's lifting up a bit. So I hope this encourages you to go through some of your card supplies and use them for this next season of Valentine's Day. Just bring out that colorful, girly paper and make it a Valentine's Day card. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. Please give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next Carta Craft. Bye, guys. Happy Valentine's Day as well.